Hi, it's Katrina. From snakes around your neck to turkeys on an airplane, people have developed strong bonds with all kinds of animals. Here are 12 of the most unusual emotional support and service animals people have actually owned. Number 12. A pig. A service animal is usually a dog that is trained to work and perform tasks to help a person with a disability. This can vary from mental to physical or psychiatric, and therapy and service animals help people stay calm during stressful times, like in large crowds or flying on an airplane. In 2014, someone brought their therapy animal onto the plane with them, and it didn't go so well. Actually, it reacted really badly, but this wasn't a dog, it was a pig. Yep, a pig was turned into a therapy animal. So a therapy animal can be practically any animal that provides affection and comfort, and they have to pass a special test. Therapy animals and emotional support animals can vary from dogs to birds, but under U.S. federal laws, service animals can only be dogs, or in some cases, miniature horses. Surprisingly enough, U.S. Airways allowed the passenger to bring the pig on board as an emotional support animal. Why can't they always be this nice? The 80-pound pig was tied to an armrest so that it couldn't just wander around the plane. But as the passenger started to put her things away, the pig started defecating in the aisle and screeching. Luckily, this happened before the plane took off, and while the flight crew tried to work with her, in the end, they asked them both to leave the plane. While the ADA may limit a service animal to a dog, the Department of Transportation leaves it up to airline personnel to determine if an animal is a service animal. Get ready for some people to get very creative. Number 11. A boa constrictor. Before you freak out, it should be noted that this is one of the smaller breeds of boa constrictor. This red-tailed boa constrictor named Redrock rides around on his owner's neck. Daniel Greene is an epileptic, and the 5-foot snake alerts him 3 minutes before he is about to have a seizure. Daniel says that Redrock must detect an increase in his blood pressure or changes in his body and just senses it. Then the snake will give him a squeeze, what Daniel calls a hug, so he can sit down. Daniel has been able to train the snake to jump into a carrier and to give him accurate early warning signals. He said he never expected to have a snake as a service animal, but that he's the best thing that ever happened to him. Number 10. An alpaca. A reporter in New York has an alpaca named Sorpresa as her therapy animal, and she actually went around New York to various stores and random places to find out which of the stores would let her and Sorpresa in. Alpacas aren't something you see every day. Even snakes are more common than alpacas in the United States. But surprisingly, llamas and alpacas can make great therapy animals. There are only 14 registered llamas in the US, but since they are domestic and social, there should probably be more. Many enjoy being around people, and they are usually very gentle. Another mother-daughter team take their therapy llama and alpaca, Rojo and Napoleon, around to hospitals, rehabilitation facilities, and schools around the Pacific Northwest. The animals have completed the Animal-Assisted Therapy certification process, and they are famous for their carrot kisses. Number 9. A duck. It is proven that animals help alleviate loneliness, lower our blood pressure, and reduce stress. And our furry friends come in all shapes and sizes. Meet Daniel Turducken Stinkerbutt, an actual duck in the world that is also a registered emotional support animal. His owner is a woman named Carla Fitzgerald, who got Daniel back in 2012. He helped her get through a terrible accident she had been through. He would notice something wrong, whether it be my pain or my PTSD, Fitzgerald told the Washington Post. He would come and lay on her and cuddle. If he notices that she's going to have a panic attack, he would give her a cue to lay down by trying to climb up her. But Daniel got national fame when Carla took him on a flight to Asheville, North Carolina. Again, another nice airline for letting them on board. He was wearing red shoes and a Captain America diaper. His seatmate, Mark Essig, took some pictures of him to share with his friends, and his pictures went viral. Daniel the Duck has now been featured on BuzzFeed, ABC News, and Cosmopolitan, and now here, of course. Number 8. A Dalmatian. Having a dog as an emotional support animal is the most common, and most people don't think of it as strange. After all, dogs are one of the most popular pets in the world, and like I mentioned before, can be approved under the ADA guidelines. But in 2016, a woman found herself face-to-face with a really large Dalmatian that was serving as a therapy pet for a person on the plane. Her name was Maureen Van Dorn, and she actually had to sit next to this large Dalmatian on a flight from Tucson, Arizona to Chicago, Illinois, while she was on her way to a funeral. Needless to say, she was not in the mood. She said that she was shocked by the size of this dog. When the traveler in seat 3A stood up, the dog was able to put his paws on the man's shoulders. The Dalmatian did not have an identifier on it to indicate that it was a service animal, and the dog was sprawled all over everyone in the row and was whipping its tail against Maureen's legs the whole flight. Many airlines and passengers are trying to get the Department of Transportation to have more restrictions on emotional support animals, and the debate is getting heated. What do you think? Should these comfort animals be allowed on flights, or should they be in a carrier or stay home? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Number 7. A Bonnet Macaque. For a lack of a better term, a bonnet macaque is an old-world monkey, and one that is actually pretty rare and hard to get. They're found in the southern part of India, and their distribution to other parts of the world is extremely limited because of the illegal pet trade. However, Debbie Rose is a founder of Wild Things Exotic Animal Orphanage, and she cares for nearly 20 monkeys. She and a 25-pound macaque named Richard developed a close bond, and he helps her with a debilitating anxiety disorder that causes high blood pressure and panic attacks. When Richard is around, she doesn't need medication. Doctors are on Debbie's side, saying the monkey is positive therapy, but the members of the town don't think the same. They have been filing complaints with the health department, and a judge determined that her monkey is not a service animal. So stores such as Walmart and the hospital do not need to allow him in. People just aren't ready for non-traditional service animals yet. Number 6. A pot-bellied pig. This particular pig, named Elvis, is a bit of a question mark in regards to whether he actually is a service animal or not. The owner, Alicia Doolittle, is wanting to use Elvis as her service animal because she's blind. However, the city she lives in is fighting her because in their eyes, Elvis is a farm animal and nothing else. Still, Alicia's adamant that she can train Elvis to be her eyes because pigs are actually very smart. But a pot-bellied pig can get huge. Unless it's a micro or a mini pig, that guy can get over 100 pounds, and I don't think many places are ready for that yet, and definitely not the airplane. Number 5. A parrot. It may seem a little strange, but a parrot actually has a bit of an advantage on certain other therapy animals, mainly because of their ability to communicate. Jim Eggers had an extreme case of bipolar disorder. He would get into a full-on rage and would want to hurt people. His parrot Sadie was assigned to him and was taught to speak certain phrases. Sadie pays attention to Jim and can tell when he's about to go into a rage and have a psychotic episode. Right before it happens, she will talk to him and say, "It's okay, Jim. Calm down, Jim. You're all right, Jim. I'm here, Jim." Phrases which ironically Jim would say to himself repeatedly to calm himself down. Since his time with Sadie, Jim has only had one major outburst, and that was only because he left Sadie at home that day. He has a backpack cage that he uses to carry her around with him all the time. Number 4. Squirrels. Squirrels aren't just cute critters running around. Ryan Bolin has a squirrel named Brutus who has been there for him since he was in a car accident in 2004 that left him with PTSD. While this is a touching story, his property management company doesn't think so. They consider a squirrel an exotic pet and have filed a complaint. Ryan is fighting against them after they found out about the squirrel, and despite the note from a doctor saying that Ryan has the right to have an emotional support animal, he may have to face eviction. Ryan contacted the Office of Human Rights, and the case is still pending. Who knew that a squirrel was exotic? Number 3. Appaloosa Horse. Humans and horses have been together for thousands of years, and we can have great bonds with them. But that being said, that doesn't mean you should take them all over the world with you. But for Cheryl Spencer, that's exactly what she does with her Appaloosa horse named Confetti. To her credit, Cheryl did go the recommended route with getting official service animals at first. She is legally blind, and originally she had 2 dogs to help guide her, but both of them died of old age and she needed to get another one. A local ranch gave her a horse that was a good worker but not a good pet, and she now uses the horse as a guide to get around and has even taken Confetti onto airplanes. Number 2. A turkey. One of the most famous emotional support animals of all time is a turkey. This occurred when a woman brought the turkey on board and claimed it as a therapy pet. Naturally, people saw the turkey and started to take pictures of it, which spread news of the bird all over the world. This also pressed the question of how legal it was to have such an animal on a plane and to call it a therapy pet. For those of you who are curious, I refer you to Assistant Professor Megan Mills, who notes the following law as the reason a turkey can be on a plane in a seat. In 1986, a law called the Air Carrier Access Act was passed, and as soon as you walk through an airport's front door, you're covered by it. It basically ensures that individuals with disabilities are able to fly and have the accommodations they need. According to reports, the turkey was well behaved and good with the flights. Hey, as long as they're trained to behave in public, Delta Airlines will still let you travel with emotional support animals as long as you provide the documentation. Number 1. A kangaroo. To you, this might seem like an unbelievable thing, but it's true. There have been people who have gotten kangaroos as service animals. And no, not all of them are in Australia. Diana Moyer is the proud owner of a young kangaroo in Wisconsin, but they were kicked out of a McDonald's because the animal didn't meet their health and safety rules. Plus, even though he does provide support and comfort to Diana, he's not properly trained yet. A couple more have been spotted on planes. In fact, Twitter was alight with pictures of them when they were brought on board. Unlike certain other animals, both the owners held their kangaroos during the flight, and one kangaroo even got to ride in first class. Thanks for watching! Which emotional support animal was your favorite? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!